3, 2, 1. Okay. Hi guys. Welcome back to our discussion. So last time, sorry it took ages before I upload a new lesson or a new video because with all the meetings and other confusing things that are happening right now. So today, this is still a part of the interaction, like sa may part ng, we call this, sa interaction within the human and the computer. So how do we create the interaction between two parties? But before we discuss more on that, we should first discuss the design principles. So last time I was asking you if okay lang ba mag-Photoshop tayo sa klase or something like that. Ito kasi yung panggagamitan nun. So we'll be creating designs for different systems or different user interfaces that needs to be addressed. So, yeah. When we're talking about design, there are actually 5 elements. So, not just color, not just texture, whatever that is, whatever that means. So, this is also applicable when we are creating like art or graphics. So, we have type, shape, color, texture, and space. So, we'll be discussing these 5 today. Okay, so first one is we have type. Type is actually typography or text. So, typography is the selection and sizing of specific typeface. Yan. It can convey meaning. So, kung ano yung gagamitin mo font dun sa yung ginagawang interface or ginagawang UI, user interface, yeah, it can actually say a message or meaning with regards to what users are you targeting on or kung saan nakafocus yung interface na gagawin mo. Parang ganun sana. So, for example, a heavy sans serif font conveys an authority that a thin stroke scripted font does not. So, as an example, yung yung stop sign, pag, anong tawag na ito? Kasi, di ba, for example, pag yung stop sign, ang gamit mo dun yung something, wala akong marinig eh. yung stop sign, yung gagamitin mo dun yung curvy na signature font. Sa tingin mo, like, mapapansin pa yun ng tao. Like, oy, stop pala. Parang ganon. So, stop signs using a really, really bold font to convey its message. So, this is an anatomy of a typeface. So, yung simple font mo, hindi yun basta-basta font lang. There are a lot of parts. So, let's just make pahapyaw of this one. Then, you have the letter spacing here. Here's the cap, the tuktok of the caps lock. So, as you can see here. Then, you have the height. Then, you have the X height from base hanggang dito sa taas. Then, you have the serif. This is what we call the serif. Ito yung wala sa sans serif. Therefore, kaya nga sans serif, diba? Then, you have the stem, the stroke here. Then, the ascender. Yan. So, we'll be discussing more of this later in life. Okay, so there are different typeface classifications. So, you have the sans serif. Sans serif, as you can see, wala siya nung serif. Therefore, sans serif nga siya. So, serif, ito nakikita niyo yung mga dito sa gilid-gi. Ayan, yan yung sa serif. Then you have the slab serif. It's not that, para siyang balbal na serif. Ayan. So you can see here, wala siyang maninipis na area. Just a slab, basic slab. So script is anything curvy, kemero. Then you have the black letter. So you can see here, ito yung mga Old English, mga ganong kineme. Then sa under serif, you have the modern and the old style. And then you have mono. So mono is like the font in the Eclipse or in your command prompt, something codey. Yan, techie thingy. Yan, pang code. Yan. So as you can see here, we have 3, 4 fonts. 4 fonts. 5, I think. Or maybe this is just a manipis version of this one. Okay, so as you can see here, using typography or using fonts, you can actually convey your message properly. As pag tinignan mo tong part na to, you can see agad na kung saan yung highlighted words in the message. Okay, and then it is readable, of course, and of course hindi rin balbal yung combination ng fonts. So you can see here, you have a script here, then you have sans serif here, then you have the serif here. So this is just the same font, this is the same font, these two right here, then this one and this one, I think, no, no, it's a different font. So ito iba, then iba rin to. Ayan. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fonts. Actually, this is already a sin. Dapat, when you're creating your interfaces, you should just use 2 to 3 fonts. Like, overkill na yung 4. Ganun. Kasi, you can have like a title, one for your title, one for your body, and then one for the highlighted parts of your system. Okay. So, second part is we have the shape. So, shape is like the root of graphic design, especially in creating user interfaces. Okay, so they are figures and forms that make up logos, illustration, and countless other elements in all types of design. So, shapes help the designer to add interest or organize elements of a design. So, they are not strictly ornamental either. So, as shapes can have symbolic meanings, invoke feelings, or be used to direct the eye of the most important information. So shapes speak to audiences in different ways. So ovals, for example, tend to be welcoming. So that's why open signals are madalas bilog. Whereas square shapes present a tidier appearance. So even on the page itself, the ordering of graphic elements into predictable or random patterns contributes to the overall communication effects. So as you can see here in this example, so these are posters. I just use this for, visualization. Pag kasi bilog yung ginagamit mo kapag nagde-design ka, like, you're more on the curvy parts, like, bilog, curves, ganyan. Parang ano siya parang malambot. Hindi. Sorry, wrong term. Shit, sinisipon ako. Parang siyang muted, soft, caring yung as you can see here, like this is an ad for a ballet class. Para siyang, halina kayo, welcome, ganyan. Sobra siyang warm, like yung feeling mo hindi masyadong rigid, flowy, smooth lang, ganyan. So as I was saying, yan yung sa circle, when it sa circle siya, parang welcome, sobrang warm, ganyan. Inclusive siya. So, when compared to this side here, sorry class, oh my god. Sorry guys. Ayan. So, when it, dito banda, like, the other side, as you can see, it's rigid, it shows power, it shows strength. Ano pa? Give me some adjectives. So, nakikita mo na, ano siya, alam mo yun, it is a part of a strong community, strong hierarchy, ganyan. As in, puro power, strength, ganyan. Kasi puro edge. You remember the movie One More Chance? So, this is like an application na hindi lang siya when I talk about design, it's not just about the user interface, not just about layouting, and it involves all aspect of life that needs design. Ayan, so I was saying, so do sa movie sa One More Chance, if you remember the scene of Bea Alonzo and Derek Ramsey, since architect si Bea Alonzo dun sa movie, meron yung part dun na they saw this house. This is like my favorite part of that movie. Bea saw this house with a lot of edges dun sa roof, like, I mean, yung buong bahay, as in, puro siya edges, like, square type of a house. Sabi niya, siguro yung may-ari ng bahay na to ayaw magkapamilya, ayaw magkaasawa, kaya magkaanak, yan. Then, Derek said, like, paano mo naman nasabi yan? It's Derek, alam ko it's Derek Ramsey. So, ayun. Paano mo naman nasabi yan? Sabi niya. Edi, ayun, yung bahay mo, ay yung bahay kasi, daming edges, ganyan. Hindi siya child-friendly, pwede man-distress yung mga bata, ganyan. So, ang point ko, ang point ko is, yung sa design pala ng bahay, like the fear of edges, fear of squares, ganyan, makikita mo na hindi siya inclusive. It shows power, it shows dedication, parang gano'n. Dami kong sabi, no? Anyway, next element of design is color. So, colors and their juxtaposition directly influence the audience's emotional engagement with the design piece. It can also convey moods, images attract attention, or identify objects. So, when selecting colors for a publication or a web page, think about what you want the colors to do and what is appropriate for your purpose. So, dito pumapasok yung branding nung gagawin mo interface or yung gagawin yung interface. Gagawin yung design. So, for example, in SMU, we have like white and blue. So, bakit white and blue? Kasi Mama Mary, ganon. And are we really living up to that label or that brand? Dapat lahat na ginagawa sa SMU, ganun yung concept. So, ganun yung brand. Ganyan, keme. Ganyan. So, blue is basically malamig sa mata when you're creating like a layout or an interface, especially with websites and systems. Our Facebook, for one, Twitter also is blue and white. You can just turn on dark mode if you want it black. Or, yeah, blue pa rin naman. What else? Ano ba? Twitter. Instagram is not. It's like white, pinkish. Pero it's still good sa eyes. It shows like pop. Ganyan. TikTok as well. Something pinkish yung UI niya. It shows like youth, pop, ganyan. Happy, ganyan. What else? Twitter. Bakit nilalanggam yung ilaw ko? Anyway, so yeah, yun, ganun. Parang kung ano colors yung gagawin mo, papakita doon kung what kind of brand you are. Yan, so, yeah. So, there are lots of ways on how to combine colors by using color palettes. So, you have monochromatic color palettes. Ibig sabihin, pag monochromatic color palette, you're just picking a single color and simply changing different hues of that color. So, as you can see here, we're just having like a purple color, one color, and then the website created like a color palette of hues, like either muting, adding black, or adding whites to the color in order to create its website. Ayan. So as you can see here, the color of the school or the website is purple, and then minumute niya lang, parang ito yung siguro yung pinaka-dark na part, and then muted, then just using different color combinations, different hues in order to create the design. So, hindi siya masakit sa mata kasi hindi lang isang variation ng color na nakikita mo, but you see different variations of the color. Other one is complementary color palettes. So, you're just using two colors, your primary, and then a few shades of the complementary color. So, yeah. How would you look for the complementary color palette? Sorry, I didn't include in my slide a color wheel. So, yung primary color mo, so the color wheel, primary color is red, blue, and yellow. And then, you're going to create yung katapat niya. Tapat ng complementary color. So, okay, fine. Let's just open a color wheel na lang. Whoops. Okay, so here's a color wheel. Let's just have yung may names na. Ayan. So, this is like a color wheel. Let's just open it outside. So, this is a color wheel. As you can see here, there's the primary colors. yellow, blue, and red. So the complementary of yellow is purple, complementary of red is green, complementary of blue is orange. So when you're creating a complementary palette, you get yellow here, and then this is the complementary, and then you get the two other on the other side. So, yon. I'll get few shades of the complementary color that are precisely opposite of what the other the color will do. So, you have yellow here, then we have purple, then get the other two here. So, as you can see in this example, so you have like the orange one. Let's see, orange. And then what's the complementary? The blue. What's the complementary of blue? Orange. And then they get this one, and then they got this one also. So you can see here, you have some palette of orange here, and then the palette of blue here. Diba? It's not that bad. Then of course you will not be technically using, halimbawa nandito ka sa color wheel, ano, you will not get like main yellow, yellowish, literal na yellow. Unless yun yung gusto ng brand. Tsaka yun minsan. Minsan you just need to explore the other spectrum of yellow. What kind of yellow are you going to use? Something like that. So as you can see in this design, this is not like a yellow. Okay? This is not a pink, blue, or like, yeah, you get what I mean. Yun. Okay, so next is Triad. So color palette that uses 3 different colors. This time you take one color, finds its complement, and split the difference using a color on each side. So as you can see here, this is a triadic formula. So here we use like the green, and then purple here, and then orange. So that is the color scheme of Joker. Ayan. So if you want to get red, then you get here the blue and the yellow. Next is analogic color palettes, colors that are just 1 or 2 steps from the primary color. You can use this. It's just almost the same with the monochromatic, but not that much, because in monochromatic, like, you're going to get just a color and then adjust the hues of that color. But in here, for example, our color wheel is girl. Color wheel is yellow, and then you get green, yellow, green, and yellow, orange to explore with the palette. Ayan. Okay, so sidebar, if you wanna get like awesome color palettes on your projects, you just go to colors.co.com, and then here, this is where I get my color palettes in my design. Okay, so you can just like generate colors if you're really not decided on what to use, then you can just like a space bar there. Oh my god, sana all may iOS na. Then here's the wow, this is a really good palette, yeah. So you can just get the hex here, the name of the color, ganyan. So you can view the shades of the color as well. What do you want to use? You can just have this one, then there. Then if you're sure like on what peg you're looking for, so you can just search at the trendings, explore, and then you can just have maybe like watermelon. Naisip ko lang, gusto ko ng watermelon. Oh, this is like a good palette for watermelon. Yeah. Or this one. This one is actually good. Yan, pwede mo na kunin yung mga code nila sa hex, and then you can just use it on your devices or your designs. Yeah. There. So next is what we call texture. So ink on paper gets the job done, but adding non-standard elements like fabric, foil, and emboss offer a tactile experience that extends the audience perception of the design as a whole. So texture is the look or feel of a surface. You can add richness and dimension to your layouts with texture. Visual texture creates an illusion of texture on a printed publication or a web page. So as you can see here, this first poster right here, you can feel, even though you don't actually touch the paper or the design, parang nararamdaman mo siya na vintagey effect, na parang ang gaspang nung paper, mga ganong keme, na alam mo yung feels ng vintage. Yung usong-uso ngayon yung mga film scratches, ganon sa mga videos, so they're doing like, have this film scratches camera, ganyan. Wait lang, bebe time, charot. Uh, joke lang. Dito bebe time. Babe. Oh, shit. Okay. Then next is you have here on the other side, like a beveled feel on the texture of the text. As you can see here in this part na break, uh, so part na break is, it is beveled or parang feeling na kaangat. So, parang just looking at it, alam mo yung feeling na pag nahawakan siya. Parang ganun yung point ko. Gets you ba? Ayan. Anyway. Next is, finally, you have white space. So designers consider white spaces too. So absence or white spaces like the absence of presence can be as powerful as the presence of something more concrete. White spaces means that yung negative space, yung walang laman. Ayun. Parang minsan kasi, pag sobrang cluggy ng designs mo or ng interface na gagawin mo, minsan nawawalan na siya ng sense, ang hirap niya tignan, ganyan. So, it sometimes conveys sophistication or refinement at a minimum. In print-heavy context, more white space leads to easier reader engagement, especially with websites. Like, pag sobrang sabog ng website mo, like, ang daming elements, ang daming picture, ang daming text, minsan, yung tao, ang hirap basahin. Parang ganun. So, this base separates or unifies, highlights, or give the eye a visual rest. So, I have an example here. This is the official, kind of official. I think this is the official talaga. Poster before of Ant-Man and the Wasp. As you can see here, andun lang sila sa gitna. Ay, dalawa sila. Dalawa sila dyan sa gitna. And then, these are all white spaces. Ayan. So, may times kasi na parang mas maganda pag mas maraming, hindi naman sa sinasabi ko, it just give your eye like a rest when you're reading, especially with websites, sabi ko kanina, when there's a good amount of white spaces. Ayan. So, why am I discussing this to you guys? Is because that we're going to talk about something important. Actually, dapat naman talaga na ito sinasabi natin something important. So, we're talking about user-centered design. Kanino ba tayo nagde-design, diba? Kanino ba tayo nagde-design? Dapat, of course, for our users. Ganyan. Bakit choppy music? So, for the users, right? So, when we're talking about user-centered design, dapat isipin natin na yung design na ginagawa natin is for the people or for the user na gagamit nun and not for our not for ourselves lang. Sige, yun na lang. Self-gratification. Ayan. Okay, so, user-centered design, this is an iterative design process in which designers focus on the users and their needs in each phase of the design process. So, these design teams involve users throughout the design process via a variety of research and design techniques to create highly usable and accessible products for the users. So, basically, in here, you need to know what the user wants and needs, of course. Una needs ha, rather than wants. Ayan. So, basically, if you're creating a user design or a design for a kid or, for children, dapat ang design mo akma sa pambata. Nakuha mo ba? Like, ano ba ang design ng pambata? Syempre, makulay, malalaki yung buttons, yung fonts readable, and may mga cartoon. May mga cartoon ng mga bata, ganyan. Okay, so it is an iterative process kasi you do surveys and interview and then you generate ideas, brainstorming para maintindihan mo yung user's needs. So there are 4 phases. You need to understand these are first, as designers working in teams, you understand the context, first one. Then, a design phase must follow in which the design team develops solution. The team then proceeds to an evaluative phase. Here, you assess the outcome of the evaluation against the user's context, blah, 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 and check how well the design is performing. You should always submit to your client. Then specifically, you see how close it is to a level that matches the user's specific context, and satisfy all of their relevant needs. From here, your team makes further iterations of these four phases, and you continue until the evaluation results are satisfactory. So in short, you should understand first the needs of the user, and then you specify the user requirements, and then you design, and then you evaluate. And then, babalik ka. Kapag may evaluation, you understand again, you specify, decide, and evaluate. Depende kung saan yung babalik dun sa evaluation, kung saan ba kayo nagkakamali. For example, if you don't need, you already understand it, but the requirements are insufficient, you will go back to the user requirements, or something sa design lang may problema, you go back to the design as well. Ayan. So in UCD, wait, a bit time. Ayan. So, in UCD, you base your projects upon an explicit understanding of the user's tasks and environment. The aim of the process is to capture and address the whole user experience. Therefore, your design team should include professionals, yan, dapat marami, as well as domain experts, stakeholders, and the user themselves. Okay. So, that ends our presentation. So, if you have questions, feel free to chat lang tayo sa Discord. I will edit this video out. I'll edit some parts. Yeah, and then I think you already have a glimpse of what we're going to do next. So we'll be starting creating some, designs a little bit. For those who don't have Photoshop, I can, kamote laptop gang. Actually, kamote na may laptop ko, but it's still running. So maybe we can have like GIMP maybe, but I will be teaching you Photoshop, please. I don't know how to use the other one. Joke lang. So if you have questions, feel free to chat at our Discord channel. Please chat sa mismong channel natin for the class. And kasi baka yung mga classmates yun nahihiya lang magsabi. And they also have questions similar to you. At least share na natin doon. Okay. So that's it. Bye-bye.